All right, thank you for tuning into the podcast. I'm Joshua Glover, and who am I here with today?
Joseph Green
Uh, what school do you go to?
with Mount St. Joe.
All right, you know they made a new Sprite flavor, uh, with tea and Sprite.
For are you cool? That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty good, bro.
You had it?
I haven't tried the actual one, but like I've made it myself.
What tea is it mixed with?
I don't know. I just do any tea they got available. Like I don't do it in my house, but like I do it in the restaurants.
Bro.
All right. Anyways, you play basketball, right, man? What position are you?
On guard.
Okay. Have you played any sports other than basketball, perchance?
I played football, lacrosse, and baseball when I was younger.
Really? Look, for real?
Yeah, yeah, I played lacrosse.
What?
Jeez, I gave
In middle school or like rec?
through school. Yeah, I did a little bit of golfing too. We used to golf.
Are you trolling?
Yeah, seriously, I used to golf.
All right. So, first question I got for you is what really got you into basketball as your main sport?
Um, well, to start off, I really didn't want to play basketball. My mom forced me to because at the time I was younger. I was like 7. She didn't let me play football yet, so it was like my backup plan. So I played, and I was just naturally good at it. So I kind of had like developed a love for it. And then as I got older, I started taking it more serious because I realized that I was good enough too.
So, did you like you said you didn't like it at first, right?
Not that I didn't like it. It was just that I wanted to play football.
Okay. Um so what was it like starting basketball like through you said you started when you were 6 or 7, right?
Yeah, when I was 7.
So like what was your initial impression of basketball as a sport?
I would say that I had like a really good upbringing with basketball. If you say like the two people that introduced me to basketball, they played basketball at Wake Forest, so they were my first two rec coaches, and they were both my neighbors. So they had a hoop outside their house where we went to the elementary school down the street, and they had this hoop, and we would always play there, and we would like get better, and then we would go to Joseph Briscoe School, and we would work out there, and so I just developed a love for it. Really, it just didn't come naturally, just because of how much I was around it.
Okay. So, did you feel like kind of based off what you just said, do you feel like you're more talented at basketball or like you had to work for your skills and like train more?
When I was younger, I would say I was more so talented just because I was taller than everybody. So when I was taller, and then I had implemented a part of my game like being bigger than everybody and being able to handle the ball. So it kind of like separated me from the people my age. And then when I got older, it's like everybody caught up in height and everybody just started sprouting. You get guys who are like 6'6", 6'8". You just keep implementing things in your game. So I would say I worked really hard at my craft, and I just kept going and going and going.
So, did that height difference like when you realized people were getting taller and you weren't the tallest anymore, did that change the way you played?
For sure, because I would say when I was younger, like I was more like a big man. I had to secure rebound. Well, like it's kind of like implemented in how I play now. I play like a tougher role. I get rebounds, and then I push the ball, make sure I keep our guys involved. So it was like I would say that it kind of helped me because like you understand not just your position, but you understand everybody else's position because you've been in that same spot before.
All right. When did you realize that you could play basketball at a high level, like MIAA level?
Um. So when I was younger, people like I would say my coaches thought that I could, but I was like, nah, I really don't care for basketball like that. Not that I didn't care for it, it was just I really wanted to play football and like that was my like passion. But I I didn't really I didn't think I had it to that level until about sixth or seventh grade. That's when it started to click when a bunch of high school coaches would call and text and like try and get to know me to come and get to go to their school.
How did that feel? Like being so important as a middle schooler that you would have high school coaches like begging you to come to their school. Like, how did you feel?
Um, I was shocked because really, I kind of like me and my mom. We kind of walked into it like surprised because we really didn't know any of the process. We didn't know anybody that had went through that process before, so it was kind of shocking. We had like we had a couple of schools from like the area call, and then we had schools from like the DC area call, and so like it was good to know like to feel wanted, but like it was really stressful like trying to narrow down what was the best option for me.
Um, what is like the most memorable thing you've had through your career of basketball? Like anything, good or bad?
The
Actually, not.
most
Hold up. Do good right now. I'll ask you bad after.
the most memorable thing I would have to say is going to Hawaii my sophomore year and we beat Mount Verb, which was the number one team in the country.
Yeah, I heard about the Hawaii trip, man.
Good times, good times.
Um, and what is one of the worst? Well, not worst. Um, what is like the most impactful moments that you remember from losing a game or any loss from basketball, playing basketball?
So I would say my sophomore year of AAU, I was cut from my national team and I later went on to another team, which was I was cut from Team Thrill and then went to Team Durant. And like during the time of me like not being like the time where like I was trying to figure out what team I was going to, I was in like a I wouldn't say a dark space mentally, but like I really had to like I was upset and it really like I would say it put a lot of fuel to the fire. Um just kind of like it shifted my mindset really. I think it really like made me want to just prove not even prove other people wrong, but prove myself right to who I think that I am as a player. So I really took that personally, and I attacked it on head first instead of just getting down and being in my feelings about a situation that I couldn't really control.
That's good. What would a typical day from a varsity athlete and a high school student look like? And you took like high level classes, right? You were taking honors classes and stuff. Yeah. What would a day look like for you during the season?
So well, I'll do off season and so during the off season I could possibly work out 3 to 4 times max. I could work out in the morning by getting shots up at Mount St. Joe with Coach Shank. Then I go to school right after that workout. Then I'll probably lift a couple hours after school, maybe like 4 or 5. And then later I'll have another workout at 8 o'clock where I'm like going through concepts and picking rules and breeds and maybe watching film. And then I'm probably going home. I'm getting my work done at like 8, 9 o'clock. Nah, not even 8 o'clock. 9, 10 o'clock. And then I'm eating. I'm getting ready to go to sleep by like 11, 11:30.
When you came into high school, from playing my fault. When you came into high school, did you have any struggles like adapting to your new lifestyle as like uh um a player on a team and as a student?
Yeah, definitely as a student, you had to learn how to time manage, having like this rigorous schedule that you're not used to playing and having school with. So it was definitely like learning how to have a balance and making sure that I'm on top of my game and also my schoolwork, and even those extracurricular activities that I have outside of those too. And then as an athlete with basketball, I had to like I said, the growth thing was coming into play, so I had to learn how to become a guard and learning how to shoot better, getting my handle tighter, being able to make reads, watching film of guys who are in the NBA and college and seeing what they're doing to separate themselves from those guys too.
So when you came to high school, you had to basically reinvent the way you played, kinda.
Basically, yeah.
Um, when coming into high school, um, what was I already asked, bro? My fault, bro. Did you meet any like lifetime any of your friends from basketball, like anyone from elementary, middle school, like high school? Any Have you met most of your friends through basketball or any good friends?
Yeah, I made a lot of great friends and great connections through basketball. I would say that basketball is like a it's brought me a second family. So like for example, on our team, Brandon Holmes, that's basically like my brother. We went through middle school together on team throw, played on Durant together, and we went through these 4 years at MSJ. So I consider him really a brother to me. Uh, some other guys. For example, my best friend Josh, he also was a part of Baltimore Dream Team. That was my first ever AAU team, and we've known each other since we were three. And so we also like had a bond through basketball. So basketball is just a really pivotal point in my life, building relationships.
Do you have a go-to song or like type of music that you listen to before a game?
So my routine is usually I get like butterflies 3 hours before a game. So I go to sleep listening to like something calming, like some R&B music or like some gospel maybe. And then when I wake up, I'm like, I've lost the butterflies and I'm like ready to play. So like I have some rap music on, some like OTR Chaz or things like that.
Um, Other than the music, do you have any pre-game rituals other than the music?
Yeah. I pray before every game. Like usually when I'm sitting, like right before we get our game plan, I'm sitting on the bench and you see me. Like I'll put my head down and I'll start praying. Uh, I have to have a nap before every game. Uh, for a while, I used to have this word search book, and I would do that to calm myself down instead of having like butterflies. So yeah, I've had a couple of things.
All right, kind of. I was about to ask you about if if you feel like God had any impact on like the way you played or how good you did, but I feel like you halfway answered it when you said you prayed, but like still asking you like what do you think God has an impact on your game at all?
For sure, guys played a pivotal role in just like how I've moved through my basketball career. Basically, um, besides me praying before every game, uh, I also have this like journal before I go to sleep that I write in, and like it's really just me talking to God, and I get all my thoughts out, and usually it's about basketball. So I feel like He hears me through that, and I get my thoughts out.
Um, Outside of basketball, what's one of your like favorite things to do?
I like to play on the game, going out with my friends, my having fun times with my family. Uh, yeah, that's about it.
All right. Have you ever had an injury or any setbacks, and how did you bounce back and deal with those?
Um, I've never had like a serious injury from basketball aside from like a rolled ankle or like a jammed finger. So I've been blessed really because a lot of people like they've been through a lot worse than what I have. So I don't really have any major setbacks really.
Okay. um, what was it like? Do you ever feel distracted like when you're in a game and like you hear all the crowd going crazy and stuff? Like, did that bother you when you first came into high school basketball?
Um, I wouldn't say it bothered me, but I definitely saw a shift. Like I had to dial in more. I had to pay more attention to the game itself. But once I did that, like the crowd really was never there. I really couldn't hear anything. I was just so dialed in with the game that I just played my game.
Um, how does it feel like? I know like you have like people around the school like walking up to you that you don't even know, like, yo Joe, yo Joe, I want you to drop 30 in that game tomorrow. I want you to drop 40, bro. Like, does that bother you at all?
I think freshman year it did bother me. I never really expected for just people to come up to me and just embrace me the way they did. But I think it's also like what at least it speaks volumes to what the mount is. Like it's a brotherhood, so you just have to really adapt to it and get used to it. So I think once I did, it was just like I wouldn't say now. I really know everybody who taps me up and walks up to me and calls my name out because like that's just what Mount St. Joe was. It was a brotherhood. So I didn't really see any problem with it.
All right, kind of on the other side of that coin. Do you think how did it feel like when people would give you like hate or tell you like, yo, you're not you won't be anything. Uh, how did that bother you at all? If it did, how'd you deal with it?
Um, I wouldn't say it bothered me, but it was like to be honest, it made me like laugh a little because it's usually the people that say that they're either like just trying to get under your skin just to get a reaction out of you, or like it's literally someone that has nothing going for themselves and they're just trying to like just put you to bring you down with them. So you just really had to block it out and really just do what you're called to do.
um, do you have like a diet, perchance?
Um, nah, not really. I burn most of that the bad food that I eat off. So
Um,
Chipotle a day keeps the doctor away.
that's not true, bro. But um, does how much do you think the way you sleep affects the way you play?
I think especially with me, because it's like a routine. I go to sleep before almost every game, so I think it's pretty important. If you're not fully rested, you can't perform at your fullest capacity. So it's necessary that you get your 8 hours or your 9 hours, or however long you need to be able to prepare for a game.
Um, do you think that basketball is like more dominated by people with good genetics or people that are skillful?
I believe that it is becoming more skill because you're seeing shorter guys get coming to the NBA and things like that, and like high level basketball. You're seeing people who are extremely gifted genetically. They could be really bad, but also you're seeing the game develop in the ways that those bigger guys are now starting to step out like guards. So it's really positionless basketball. So I believe it's really like a real skillful game that's being developed.
Um, do you think that your chemistry off the court with your team affects the way you play?
Oh yeah, for sure. If you're not like if you don't consider your teammates like if you don't hold them to like a high standard, you can't hold on, let me rephrase that. If you can't like hold your teammates accountable or like things like that, it's really hard to be successful as a team just because like a game's not gonna go perfectly and you have to let somebody know that they're not holding their end of the bargain up and everybody has the same goal of winning. So if y'all aren't close enough to hold each other accountable without having a bicker off or just getting angry at each other and getting in your feelings, it's really impossible to try and win a game.
Um, can you describe a moment where your team came together for anything?
Um, I'll talk about I guess that Mount Verde game because really a lot of people back here back home they stayed up for the game, but before we left and we said we might play Mount Verde, everybody said we were gonna lose by 70. Oh, y'all might as well pack y'all bags and come back home when y'all see their names on the schedule. Uh, and really, it was like it was just all of us. It was our our family versus everybody else's expectations, and it was like a really good moment for us because everybody doubted us and nobody thought that we could do that, and it was a really special moment for us.
Yeah, that Mount Verde game was crazy though. Yeah, I was
Nah,
hype. I was hype when I saw that. Um,
straight up.
so now you're like you're like one of the leaders on the team since you're like a big senior now, right? Like,
Yeah,
how do you handle that role?
I just know that. Well, really, I just looked at the guys who came before me and seeing what they did. So it was really just what me holding up the end of my part because they put a really good foundation in winning those games and all those championships before me as those leaders. So I just had to feel like that it was my responsibility to try and will my way and put that same energy into our guys and try and get another championship. So I knew that being a leader, your teammates are going to look at you, and if your energy down, their energy's down, and you can't win a game like that. So when everybody's looking at you, you have to be on point.
Okay, okay. Um, who do you think your funniest teammate was or is?
My funniest teammate, either Shamal or Rico. It was funny guys.
Samoa is pretty funny. What do you look for? What college did you commit to?
Brian University.
Mm-hmm. All right. How did that make you feel when you got that offer?
When I got that offer, I was ecstatic. It was a really fun moment in my house. Uh, Celebrating with my mom. That was a hug that I'll remember forever. Just having her cry in my arms because she saw how much hard work I had put in, how much sacrifice that she had done for me, and not just how much hard work that I was putting in. So it was a really special moment.
Would you say that your family motivated you to play like to the level you played at,
Um,
or anything else that motivated you?
I would say that I wouldn't call it like a motivation, just like they motivated me to play, but my mom, she gives me like a drive to want to be better just because I've seen like how successful she is and how much sacrifice she puts into that. So if I want to be on the same level or even better as her, I have to be willing to do the same things and sacrifice my time, just like how she would.
I feel like that's something it took me a while to realize that about my mom for some reason. I didn't realize the amount of sacrifice she put in and like I wasn't putting in like the equal level and like I feel like I kind of regret that a little bit. But how have you grown as a person through basketball?
I think I've become more selfless and more unselfish, just because like you can't win a basketball game by yourself. If you see somebody else down, they're affecting the energy of the team, so you have no choice but to get them up, to get them ready to go back into the game and trying to win that same game that they're trying to win. So I think I've seen it in that aspect. Uh, I've also seen it for like I guess like self control because like when you're when you're highly like looked at and people try to get under your skin, like you have to be sure to hold your emotions in check because when a game gets rowdy and you get attacked and you have to come out the game, it's momentum shifts and then it can go for the other team and then they can go on runs and it affects like how your team is. So you really just have to be in check with your emotions also on the basketball court. So that's for another word I've seen to that.
Do you think you're prepared mentally and physically to play at a college level?
Yeah, I think I put in the time, I put in the hours. But there's always room for improvement. I can always get stronger and faster and twitchier just because at the next level everybody's put in a lot of hard work. So I have to put in I have to put in another gear.
When you were playing in Hawaii against Mount Vernon, did you feel like you were representing um, your? Originally, this question was like, oh, were you representing your city? I mean, your family, but like, I feel like since you were in like a whole nother state, did you feel like you were representing Baltimore at all?
Nah, for every time we leave the city, it's always and you have that Mount St. Joe on your chest. It's still a target on your back. So definitely winning that, it definitely I feel like it put Baltimore on the map for sure. But even with its strong line of basketball history, like that's never been done where a team from Baltimore has beat the number one team in the country like that. For especially with that type of team and people consider them as one of the best teams ever assembled. So it was definitely a special time.
If you could go back in time and tell your younger self something, what would you tell him, if anything?
Um, just keep your head down and keep working, and everything will come out. Just how you envisioned it.
Um, what is one of like the worst, not worst? What is one of the best or most beneficial workouts that you do that you feel helps you the most improve?
So I go to Javon Bishop to work out, and he like really implements this decision making and playing basketball the right way. So when I go to him, we really like focus on decision plan for you to be successful at the next level. So when I'm in there, I just make sure that I'm really paying attention to detail and being sharp.
Um, how did it feel when you were getting attention on social media? Like how did you feel about that?
Um, to be honest, I don't, I wouldn't say I don't go on social media, but I don't really pay attention to it. Just because, like, if you get too deep into it and like you pay too much attention to it, it like can really like bury you, and that's all you care for. So I never really have paid attention to it. I just always like I'll get on Instagram here and there just to see like what's going on, but I don't spend a lot of time on there.
Do you think you wouldn't be the same person you are today if you didn't play basketball?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't think I'd be the same person. Just because like basketball has taught me so much, just not even like on the court. Like, and the people like, and the people that have come from basketball have taught me so much off of the court. So I know for sure I wouldn't be the same person.
What's one of the biggest lessons that's taught you?
So one day, uh, I came into workouts with Coach Jarvis, and he like was explaining to me that 'cause I think I had just got in trouble for something in like the eighth or ninth grade, and I was like upset, and my mom was like gonna punish me or whatever, and he was like he could see that I was down throughout the workout, so like he pulled me to the side. He was like, "When you get in these four lines, it was like this should be like your therapy or like your escape." So like I found other ways besides basketball to have a outlet and not just be so stuck in the world around me.
Um, how does it feel that that you know that I could like like tear you up in on the court, like how does that make you feel? Like knowing that I could just like fry you. How does that make you feel?
Um, Josh, nah,
Hmm?
nah,
Like it's okay that I could like cook you.
nah,
Hmm? Now what?
nah, just nah. That's all I gotta say. Nah,
Now what?
nah. Like you're probably good at something else, but
No, it's basketball.
like
You know the reason I didn't
play
make the team.
NBA 5 basketball.
Nah, like basketball. You know the reason why I didn't decide to play, right?
Nah, tell me, let me know.
Bro, Clatchy said I was too good. He said I was too good, bro.
You were telling me that,
He said like
but
it's no point in the team if like I'm on the court.
I'm grateful for that because if that's the case, then I probably am not in the position I am. So I'm thankful for you, Josh.
You're welcome, bro.
I'm really thankful.
You're welcome. All right, man. That's all my questions. Thank you for joining for our interview today, man.
Thank
Uh,
you for having me.
you're welcome, man. Have a great night.
You too, bro.